he experienced a sense of uncertainty about the prospect of married life. So he did what any good scientist would do when faced with a conundrum solvable only by formulating hypotheses based on empirical data gained by months of painstaking research and observation. He made a pros and cons list. The argument against marriage. Freedom lost to go where one likes. Little choice of the society that one keeps, and no time to keep it. No discourse with clever men at clubs. Forced to visit relatives and to bend in every trifle. The expense and anxiety of children. If blessed with many children, forced to toil for one's bread, which is very bad for one's health. Less money for books, cannot read in the evenings, perhaps quarreling, fatness and idleness. If my wife doesn't like London, I shall be faced with banishment and degradation into indolent idle fool. But Darwin's list in support of marriage is shorter. Children, if it please God. Constant companion and friend in old age, who will be adept at feigning interest. House and home and someone to take care of house and home. Charms of music and female chit-chat. And finally, better than a dog anyway. And yet, even with the scales tipping in favor of the cons, he scribbled in his journal sometime in July 1838, "My God, it is intolerable to think of spending one's whole life like a neuter bee, working, and then nothing after all. No, won't do. Imagine living all one's day solitarily smoking in a dirty London house. Then only picture yourself, a nice soft wife on a sofa with a good fire and music perhaps. Now compare this vision with the dingy reality of Great Marlborough Street. Marry. QED, it being proved necessary to marry." And after he had made his proposal and it had been accepted, he exclaimed in his writings, "The day of days." Erika and Nick think that Darwin was a pretty smart guy. And this day, their day of days, is a celebration of the, now wait for it, this is good, evolution. Get it? Of the relationship that they have shared for 8 years. To help in this celebration, I'd now like to invite someone who is close to each of them to offer a reading on the meaning of this day. Carla?
From Goodridge versus the Department of Health, Massachusetts, 2003. Marriage is a vital social institution. The exclusive commitment of two individuals to each other nurtures love and mutual support. It brings stability to our society. For those who choose to marry, and for their children, marriage provides an abundance of legal, financial, and social benefits. In return, it imposes weighty legal, financial, and social obligations. Marriage also bestows enormous private and social advantages on those who choose to marry. Civil marriage is at once a deeply personal commitment to another human being and a highly public celebration of the ideals of mutuality, companionship, intimacy, fidelity, and family. Because it fulfills yearnings for security, safe haven, and connection that express our common humanity, civil marriage is an esteemed institution, and the decision whether and whom to marry is among life's momentous acts of self-definition. It is undoubtedly for these concrete reasons, as well as for its intimately personal significance, that civil marriage has long been termed a civil right. Without the right to choose to marry, one is excluded from the full range of human experience.
Tanya?
It was Litany by Billy Collins. You are the bread and the knife, the crystal goblet and the wine. You are the dew on the morning grass and the burning wheel of the sun. You are the white apron of the baker and the marsh birds suddenly in flight. However, you are not the wind in the orchard, the plums on the counter, or the house of cards. And you are certainly not the pine-scented air. There is just no way that you are the pine-scented air. It is possible that you are the fish under the bridge, maybe even the pigeon on the general's head, but you are not even close to being the field of cornflowers at dusk. And a quick look in the mirror will show that you are neither the boots in the corner nor the boat asleep in its boathouse. It might interest you to know, speaking of the plentiful imagery of the world, that I am the sound of rain on the roof. I also happen to be the shooting star, the evening paper blowing down an alley, and the basket of chestnuts on the kitchen table. I am also the moon in the trees, and the blind woman's teacup. But don't worry, I'm not the bread and the knife. You are still the bread and the knife. You will always be the bread and the knife, not to mention the crystal goblet, and, somehow, the wine.
Thank you, Connie.
We are all here at this moment to witness two people, Erika and Nick, make a formal promise to each other that though they may walk as individuals, they will follow the same path together. The vows they make to each other in our presence are the heart of the moment, and the power of that moment has drawn our paths to intersect with theirs here and now. So, now, let us join in silent reflection. Mindfulness, in the words of John Kabat-Zinn, means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. For the next few minutes, we use this time of silence to touch this moment, mindfully. Notice your thoughts, your feelings, any anticipations or sensations, without judgment. Be aware of them and let them go.